Hey folks, Jim here from Tobacco Solutions, and thanks for tuning in. Today's video is going to be completely different from what you're used to. There's no review, there's no comedy sketch. This is about the upcoming presidential election in the United States. And with that, there's going to be some legislative changes also going to take effect. And I know that the vaping industry is going to be one of the targets of it. I was curious to know which presidential candidate supports the vaping industry the most. So let me tell you what I did and what I learned. On May 10th, 2016, the FDA issued its final rule on the sale of tobacco products. This new rule will require all tobacco products, which now includes vaping devices and e-liquids, to be approved by the FDA before it even reaches the customer. This is going to cost perhaps hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, to get each of these devices and or e-liquids to get approved. This is going to kill a lot of the smaller manufacturers of electronic cigarettes, killing innovation, killing a lot of jobs, not to mention the 8,000 or so vape shops that are located throughout the country. A lot of them are going to go away. You know, everybody in the government for the last 2, 3, 4 decades now have been stigmatizing smokers into quit smoking, generating all kinds of anti-smoking campaigns to get people off cigarettes, but yet, on the same token, enjoying the tax revenue that smoking was providing the government. Well, their anti-smoking campaigns is working now. People are quitting smoking, but yet now the government is starting to freak out and scramble because that tax revenue is going away. So where can they get that extra tax income that's no longer around? Vaping. Now that they've made vaping devices a tobacco product, my prediction is now that they're going to start taxing it as a tobacco product. So because of all this controversy with the regulation of the electronic cigarette industry, I want to know what each of the presidential candidates thought of electronic cigarettes and the vaping industry in general. So on April 7th, 2016, I reached out to all the candidates through email who were still on the campaign trail at the time. The question I posed was, do you believe electronic cigarettes should be defined as a tobacco product? Should the liquid and or the device be taxed? And should it be taxed at the same rate as regular cigarettes? It's been over a month since I sent that email out to each of the presidential candidates, and I've yet to receive a response. My guess is that they just don't have an opinion on the vaping industry. But perhaps if more of us ask this question to them, they'll be more inclined to respond to it. However, an interesting survey was done by V2 Cigs back in April of this year, where they actually talked to 600 people who vape. They asked about their political affiliation, which I think 38% of them were Democrats. They want to know which presidential candidate was the most pro-vaping. Out of all the 600 vapers, 36% thought that Trump would be the most pro-vape presidential candidate. It was followed by Clinton with 28% and then Bernie Sanders with 18%. Adam Custon, Vice President of Marketing for V2, believes he knows why Trump appears most supportive of electronic cigarettes. Vapers are worried about unnecessary e-cigarette regulations, and Trump is in favor of fewer regulations in most areas. Trump is also backed by California's Duncan Hunter, known as the Vaping Congressman, which is a key endorsement in the electronic cigarette community. We all know that it's important for the leader of our country to understand the value and importance of the vaping industry, how it's literally saved hundreds of thousands of people by getting them off cigarettes. So please make your voices heard and use the power of your vote. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.